Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV, where we discuss architectural and construction related topics. I'm AJAWI, and for today we'll be discussing a mistake that most people make whenever they're doing construction as it relates to going through the NHT, right? So this is a mistake that you might be making once you have actually completed your NHT application, you got your loan and everything, and now you're at the construction stage. So if you would like to know what that is, stick around. Also, we'll be answering a few questions from the channel. So you guys have left questions for me, and as such, I'll be answering some of those questions within this video as well. All right. So without any further ado, let's head into this video. Alright guys, so at this point of the video, I want you to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I make videos just like this one. It helps me as it relates to YouTube's algorithm to push the channel a little bit further. Alright, so let's get into this video. Alright, so I'm gonna get my phone. So my phone is here. Now here's the thing. I thought about, oh boy, this chair, me and this chair. Alright, so I thought about this question or this topic a little before I actually decided to do it, and for the main fact that I don't want to discourage people from, exploring their dreams and stuff like that. And I don't want to be the one to be, speaking negatively of certain things. So within this video, I'm going to be expressing a certain views, and I don't want you to think that I'm being negative. All right, so don't think of it as a negative. What I want you to do is to really think about these things, and then try to avoid them or avoid doing them. All right, so wow, this topic, what you might be doing that is wrong whenever you're doing building construction and you have actually completed your NHT application, right? This is the thing. The NHT, whenever you go to the NHT to do a project or to get a loan to build your home, you will have to have a BQ done, right? So you will get a bill of quantities done and provide that bill of quantities to the NHT, right? Now, once you get that bill of quantities and submit it to the NHT will evaluate that bill of quantities and determine whether it is in line with, what you are actually trying to achieve. So if it is that you want a 2-story building at the end of the day, then the NHT will evaluate it and see if that's going to be possible with given the budget. Now here's the mistake that most people make whenever they are doing that, right? One, the first mistake that they make is that they just do the bill of quantities because the NHT said to do it. That's the first mistake, right? So it's not a situation where they are going to their QS. And somebody asked me, what do I mean by a QS before? I mean quantity surveyor. So anytime you hear me say QS, I'm speaking about a quantity surveyor. So they go to the QS and say, hey, I want a bill of quantities for this building to give to the NHT, right? Now, within that process, they do not express to the quantity surveyor the type of finishes that they would want or how the finishes should look at the end of the day, right? They just give the quantity surveyor the job to do the bill of quantities, and that's all they know, right? So that's the first mistake you're not necessarily expressing what you want to the QS, and to really discuss with them to say, okay, this is the plan, this is the type of finishes that I would be looking for. So what the QS does is he does pretty, well, I wouldn't say basic, but he does the bill of quantities based on only what the drawing is saying, right? So it doesn't take into consideration your finishes or the type of finishes, because some people like high-end finishes while some people like low-end finishes. Now, here's the second mistake that people make whenever they do the whenever they are doing construction through the NHT. They get the bill of quantities from the quantity surveyor and they give it to the NHT, right? And that's it. they basically give the NHT the bill of quantities and they don't utilize the bill of quantities really. So they get it and then they forget about it. And that is actually your budget, right? So they just do it for doing its sake, and they just give it to the NHT, and then they're now constructing or doing construction without any guidance. Now the NHT is going to evaluate what you're doing based on the bill of quantities and check off as you go along. But you as the homeowner or the person doing the construction are not necessarily thinking about the bill of quantities at all. They just know that, hey, the NHT wanted a bill of quantities, so I'm going to give the NHT a bill of quantities. That's it. So that's the second mistake that most people may be making, right? So, or might be making. What I want you to do is, when you get that bill of quantities, actually utilize it so that you can achieve what you set out to achieve, right? And speak to your quantity surveyor and say to him, say things along the line of, okay, we know that we cannot build everything with the loan, so these are the spaces that we want to finish. What is the budget to really finish this area? Or we're doing it in our phase, so within this first phase, how much will it cost? And then from there, whatever is left over, we can actually utilize it on other spaces, so that the QS has in his mind that, hey, the person wants to build and finish, right? So because most of the time what happens is that people are not building according to the bill of quantities, so they end up with an unfinished building at the end of the day because they don't know how far along they are within the budget and stuff like that, right? So that's the second mistake. The third mistake that most people make whenever they are doing construction with the NHT is that they get the bill of quantities, they give it to the NHT, and they don't do anything else. They do not get people to tender on the project, right? So you have a bill of quantities. Your QS sat down and did this bill of quantities and say, okay, it's going to cost X amount of money to build. You now have power, right? What you can do, or what you should do, is select a couple of people who are doing construction, right? I've placed a link on my website to find reputable contractors or contractors in general, right? So you can go there and select a couple contractors. This is what I want you to do. I want you to select a few of these contractors and then send them an invitation to bid on your project, right? So you have their email address, you have their phone number. If it is that you don't see the email address, then their phone number is there. You can actually call them and say, hey, we have this size project, and you tell them the square footage. We have a bill of quantities and we would like for you to bid on this project because we want to complete it. Is this something that you would be interested in doing? As a contractor, most of the times I'm going to say, yeah man, just send it to us. This is what I wanted to do. Send them a blank bill of quantities. When I say blank, the wording, you're going to have a couple sections on your bill of quantities. I think I need to carry a bill of quantities and show you guys what a bill of quantities look like. If you want to see that, just comment below and say to me that you want to see what a bill of quantities look like, right? I'm not going to show it unless you comment below and like this video. All right. Yeah, me I set ultimatum. But yeah, yeah, your bill of quantities are going to have certain sections to it, right? You have one section where you have where I say notations, right? And the next part you have quantities, and another part you have monetary values, right? What I want you to do is ask the QS, say to the QS, say, all right, you want a bill of quantities that has the section with the one, you want a bill of quantities that has everything in it, right? Secondly, you want another bill of quantities that is electronic, right? Not printed. You want one that is electronic, and you want within that bill of quantities, you don't want any monetary value in it. So now you have two bill of quantities. The notation for the second bill of quantities, you have the notations in it and you have the quantities in it, right? But you just don't have any monetary values, right? On the first bill of quantities, you have the notations, you have the quantities, and you have the cost, right? And it has the total. Everything is total at the bottom of the page, right? What I want you to do in that situation now is you're going to send the person who you want to bid. You're going to do a selected tender. So you invite people to bid. You invite a selected amount of people to bid. You have different types of tender. You have open tender, you have what do you call it, open tender, and you have selected tender, right? So you're doing a selected tender. So you select a couple of contractors that you want to bid on that project, or you can come to us at AJAWI and we will do that for you. So we will send that out, right? Now what will happen is that those persons would send in their cost to build, right? So that is the situation that most people don't do, right? Most of them do not do this process. Here's the third mistake. Well, no, we're at fourth. Here's the fourth mistake that most people make. They want it cheap. They want the cheapest option, the cheapest solution, and that doesn't work within construction. It doesn't work within life in general. If you want something cheap and below market value, then you're going to get below market value work. Keep that in mind. It should never be a situation where you want something for nothing, right? Keep that in mind. I have that problem with a lot of people where they come to me and they're telling me, hey, I want work to be done, but I want it to be dirt cheap. I'm not dirt cheap. So at the end of the day, I'm going to value the work and give you value for money, right? So stop doing that. Don't do that. What I want you to do is to understand that it is your house, it is your investment, and at the end of the day, you have to just make the investment. If you want to buy a car, right? If you have money for buy a BMW, if you have money for buy a Audi, and if you have money for buy a Porsche, right? You don't go to go buy the Porsche with the BMW money. It don't work that way. Then you're not going to get value for money. You might get somebody to sell you one, but it might be broke down. So you have to understand that with construction, the cheapest value or the cheapest bid sometimes isn't necessarily a good thing, right? What you want is the most competitive bid, or the most appropriate bid, or the most responsive bid, right? Why do I say that, or what do I mean when I say that? Because this is a mistake that people make. The mistake is that they want it cheap, dirt cheap, right? Here's what will happen whenever people want it cheap. They're going to be giving the work to somebody who bid cheap, right? The person is going to come and they're going to try and build within that budget. The budget just can't really do the work what you want. And as such, the person end up doing a poor job, right? Because you pay for $10, you pay $10 for something, you get $10 worth of work. Meanwhile, somebody who is doing the work and have a lot of experience over the years understands the processes that are involved, and as such they bid appropriately. They bid competitively but appropriate or responsive, right? So you get something where you get a bid that that hey, this can actually finish the project, this is what it will cost, bingo, right? So that's the mistake that people make. They want it dirt cheap, and that doesn't work, right? The fifth mistake that most people make is that they don't follow along, or let's not say follow along. They are not in a position where they ask the QS to select or to help them select somebody to actually do the construction. Why? Because them get a friend of a friend who is a contractor to give them a cost to do the work, and them say, oh, all right, them give us a cost, the bid of quantities that we did, we're not gonna bother with that. Or they subconsciously do that, or they subconsciously say that they're not bothering with it, and as a result of that, they don't follow along with the bill of quantities, and they end up with a building that has not been completed in its entirety, right? So that's a mistake. What you want to do is, when you get the bids from the different contractors, you go to your QS, right, and you say, Mr. QS, Mr. QS, we have X, Y, and Z bid. Can you evaluate this and tell us if which one is the most appropriate, or the most competitive, or the most responsive? And the QS will look through it and tell you that, okay, this person bid the lowest, based on what I'm seeing, all right, him can do it for that price. Or him will say, it's cheaper, however, I don't think that that's possible, go with this bid, right? That's the situation that you want to put yourself in, all right? So now that you know that, I hope that you will get your drawings done first and foremost, right? And then do your bill of quantities, and then actually use the bill of quantities to guide your construction process. If you have a bill of quantities, you can follow along and actually finish what you set out to do or to get to achieve. All right, guys. So I'm gonna be doing the question and answer section now. All right. So this person, Anne Monique Bailey Hutchinson asked, if I have a builder who is able to read plans and do every aspect of the construction process along with his team, would your business offer, say, the service of a contractor to oversee the project? If so, what's the cost? No. No, we don't do it like that. What we do is we send out the bid. So for example, if somebody comes to us in such a situation, we would say, okay, let the person submit a bid to us, right, for the project. Let us see what exactly what exactly is he going to be constructing for that particular budget, or whatever the budget is. Chances are, most of the time, they don't have budget. It's them just a do a thing, right? This is what would happen if we are involved. We would say, okay, that person is a recommended contractor by you, right? Then we would actually send out a couple of invitation to a couple of contractors, right? And then we would evaluate the different bids. So our quantity surveyor would actually evaluate it to see who is most appropriate. Then whoever that is would get that project. Then we would monitor that project. So as the project goes along, then we inspect to see if everything is going according to plan, right? Sign off, submit, and then everything, runs smoothly. So they have to actually sign a contract. So if they're the successful bidder, then they have to sign a contract that outlines what is to be done on the project, along with the construction documents, which are the building plan, right? So we would actually have them sign a contract and sort that out. Here's the problem. Most of the time, whenever people make recommendations for contractors that they know, you run into problems. I went on a project, right? I did a drawing for somebody, and they wanted me to basically oversee the project, right? So they have their contractor, and they want me to basically monitor them as they go along. Worst mistake of my life in that project. Why? Because the person that they brought on the project, them bring a one man who don't know what him do. When I say him don't know what him do, is that because he has done construction over the years, him feel like say him know what him do, but is like he like to put up a drywall, I have to be telling the guy, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this in order to get what you want. That's not my job. I'm not a drywall installer. Yes, I know the process to install a drywall, but that's not my job. I don't come on a site to tell you how to install a drywall, right? As a professional, you get professionals to do whatever needs to be done. So if it is that I'm going to do a project, I'm going to get a professional drywall person. So the person come on site, him go straight to the work, and the work gets done, him get paid, everybody's happy, and it is done professionally, right? So that was the situation. Then it ran into a situation where him start arguing with me, which I never liked. I don't like being on any site and having to argue with anybody. Him started to disrespect me and stuff like that because he felt like I was younger than him, and I just never liked the situation. And like the client themselves was like, the guy was there disrespecting me, and the client was there standing, and I'm like, really? And the client was there doing nothing. To the point where the guy wanted to get physical because he did something. He laid out an area, right? It was supposed to be like they were tight on space, and a walkway was supposed to be like 2'6", and he make it 3 foot. And I'm like, yo, that 6 inches what you take out of the space, it got add up at the end of the day. If you take out 6 inches over there, so 6 inches over there, so and 6 inches over there, so that's a 1'6". You don't have space already, so therefore you need every single space you can get given the situation, right? So it's like it ended up that I never got paid for the project, right? I came on the project and I gave a commitment for 2 months, right? 2 months. And I told them exactly the crew that you need. I told them what the timeline was in order to get it done and stuff like that. And every single day, them carry this one man to do everything on the site. If you mix concrete, is that one man. If you put up drywall, is that one man. To fix the roof, is that still that same one man. If you do concrete work, is that same one man I do it. So it is the jack of every trade that you can possibly imagine. And every day him come, him drag him foot, and him talk, and him making nice, and him sit down. And I'm like, yo, I committed for a particular period of time. That doesn't have anything to do with me if you want to waste time, but my time is valuable. I had to just say, yo, hear what? This is not working out for me, because at the end of the day, my time is valuable to me. So I'm gonna have to withdraw from the project, because at the end of the day, you're not using people who are professionals to do the work. You're using one person to do everything. The guy was even doing electrical work, and I'm like, yo, you can't see electricity. You know, if electricity decides to leak here, you know, you cannot see it, and you are having this person wire your place. Really? The man don't have no training whatsoever in electronic. No, not electronic. That's a different thing. In electrical engineering, the guy doesn't have any experience in that, and yet still he's the one there doing that. And I'm like, my reputation is on the line, so therefore I have to take my leave. So I had to walk away from the project, knowing that I did my job. I spent the time there, but because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm encouraging people to do cobbler work and to encourage a client to just take shortcuts in every single way possible, I just decided to say, yo, this is not for me. But here's the thing, the person that was doing it, them have money. It's just that them want to save. They want to save every single dollar, but them have them money. It was just such a... Just thinking about it annoy me. Listen, if you're gonna do construction, get the right people to do it. If you're gonna do electrical work on your building, get an electrician. If you're going to do plumbing work on your building, get a plumber. Masonry work, get a mason. Carpenter work, get a carpenter. As simple as that. When you come and say, oh, the mason for do carpenter work and the mason don't do carpenter work good, you can't cuss the man. The man is not a carpenter. The man is a mason. Simple. Which it just annoyed me. Like the man put up the wall. the man installed a drywall. When I look on the wall, I say, Jesus Christ. The wall stays so. So I say, when I look on the lady, I say, ma'am, you get this man for install his drywall here, and the drywall is leaning. You have to go put it down, you know, because that will drop down at any moment in time. And she's looking at me like, you should have instructed him better. I'm like, what the hell? But tell you forget a carpenter to do the work, a drywall man to do the work. You tell me about that? That's not what you get me here for. You say you want me to come here to come inspect, right? And that's what I'm doing. You see, when me decides to tell him, say, yo, that don't do good, or that's wrong, and you're going to cost people in life, it's like the man start arguing, you know, and say, yo, a long time know this, and a long time I do this, and I'm like, gentlemen, I understand say a long time I do it, but that way I do this is Red Bull. It's Red Bull. Yeah. But I have to tell him straight, say, yo, why I do this and work? Then it's like, I design this area, right, where it's like an outdoor sitting area, right? And we'll have this trellis, this nice trellis. And it's like, what did I say to the man, say, yo, they said, the way you're going to construct this, it have to be a particular way, right? Or else it's not going to look good. Show him images of it. Normally, if I'm doing a job, like I'm have my team, I'm have a professional team, I just show them what I want, show them the dimensions, and then just get to work and get it done. But because she could get one mason, carpenter, plumber, electrician, Tyler, what else in be? Yeah, well, they are sweep up the yard too. They are, yo, this jack of all trades. I'm sure the man the thing me and say, yo, this is what my wife do. This is what it's supposed to look like. It's like, man, the man drag him foot, and it's like, I did it for the whole time, you know me, I say, yo, John, no start. It's just waste my time. Because what I could have make, I do some other work, but they waste time with this money, with this project here. I end up leaving, going down to a different site, finish that project there, done everything on the project there, and just, so I don't really have no time for those type of situations. I like to have a professional team that goes in and get out. So when you come to me, I'm gonna tell you, say, yo, what is the budget? Where is the bill of quantities? So we can know exactly what you want. We're gonna want a contract in place. We're gonna want everything to run according to plan. So when my project manager comes and him say, yo, bossy, 2 months. We're getting out of here in 2 months. I can say to my client, okay, we're getting out of here in 2 months. Boom. Me done. After that 2 months, you not see me. Because the job done, you're moving in your house and you're good to go. So no, I wouldn't take on such a situation, right? Alright, so another person asks, this person is B Gents JA. I guess that's what I mean. Do you know anything on claiming a house that you don't have the title for but have been living there for most of your life? Yes. If nobody not own the property, or if you really are the owner of the property but there is no title, then you can go to Geoland and talk to Geoland and then we sort you out. I'm actually trying to get an interview from Geoland on that topic, right? But I myself, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to go through that process as well. And what happened with my process is that they basically asked me to get a couple of people to vouch that, that land belongs to my mom. And over the past, must say 32 years, because that's how old I am. We got a lot of people to do that, and then we carry it back to them, and they are going through the process of preparing a title. It long. Here's the problem. For me, in my situation, I'm not saying that this is what I'm not discouraging anybody, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that there's poor customer service or anything like that at Geoland. They're actually nice people, But here's the problem that happened with my piece. I paid them a good amount of money, and they went to do a survey of the property, and then that's where it stopped. Why it stopped there was because the surveyor is saying that the land is a part of another piece of land, but it cut off. I'm like, yeah, I know that already. And they're like, yeah, but it is a part of another mother title. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. But see the receipt here, because I have a receipt for it. See the receipt here. We've purchased this land. What can be done? How do we go about getting this thing? She just kept going back to the fact that it is a part of another piece of land, which was annoying me because she's not giving me a solution. She's just giving me the problem without a solution. And she's like, yeah, it is a part of another piece of land, and we have to get that other, we have to locate that title and fit it back within that piece of land. And I'm like, you are the surveyor, you get the job done, you get paid for it, and it was just annoying to find somebody doing a job and they can only give me the problem. I hate that. I don't like when people just give you the problem. I want solutions. I don't come to you for the problem, I come to you for the solution. And you are the surveyor, so you got the solution, right? So give me the solution. As simple as that. But anyways, yeah, it stuck at that position. So now I had to get my surveyor, which I never wanted to do. So I wanted to get my surveyor involved to actually do the survey and get everything sorted out. So I'm actually going to interject, if that's the word, or introduce my surveyor into the equation to get it done. So that's what I'm going to do. I never wanted to to really involve myself in the process like that, but I think I'll have to. But anyways, that's pretty much it. That's how you get that piece of land. Another method is possession by adverse possession. Right? So when you're living on a piece of property for an extended period of time, I don't know exactly what the number of years is, but I think it's like 10 years, 10 or 15 years. If you are on that piece of property undisturbed within that period of time, then you can actually go to the titles office or get a lawyer or something and ask them to, get a title for you for that piece of property. I don't tell if you got thief nobody land. Because you have people who squat on people land over an extended period of time and then try and collect the people in land. So don't do that, please. Thank you. Not that anybody watching this video would do that, but But yeah, you have acquisition by adverse possession. So you've lived there undisturbed, and everybody in the area has the impression that it is your land. Then you can go and get a title for that particular piece of property. That's what I know based on my training in school, right? Thank you for watching. If you have reached this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing this video. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I make videos just like this one. All right. If you want to donate to this channel, head on over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description. If it is that you want me to prepare a plan or prepare drawings for you, then my website is in the description, so you can always hit me up and we can get that sorted out for you. If you want to do drone surveys, if you want to do building inspection, you name it, all that information is on my website. All right, so again, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing. I am AJAWI, and I'll see you next time.